how are you guys doing? Today is Thursday, September 2nd, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the elite matchups and performances that took place in the MLB and that took place outside of the continent for FIFA World Cup qualifying soccer. And of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today as we navigate through the world of sports. And of course, to add another sport to that list, the ranked college football teams are going to get their first matchups of the 2021 season today. But in looking into that, what's going on right there, looking at what's going on, especially down the list of rankings on ESPN+, 22nd ranked Coastal Carolina is going to host the Citadel at 7:30 on Pac-12 Network. 24th ranked Utah is going to host Weber State at 8 o'clock. Unranked Minnesota is going to host 4th ranked Ohio State on Fox. And at 10:30 on Pac-12 Network, 25th ranked Ohio State is going to host unranked Southern Utah. And of course, once these matchups are going to be played, I will come back tomorrow once these matchups are done, just to review them. I'll review them for tomorrow's Friday episode. But of course, jumping to the MLB to look out to what's going on over there. Starting with the doubleheader that took place in Cincinnati, the Reds hosted the St. Louis Cardinals from within their own division. And in the first matchup in Cincinnati, the Cardinals would take that one 5-4. The Cardinals were trailing 4-3 going into the top of the fourth, but it would be a 2-run home run from their elite first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, to give them the win in Game 1. For the Reds, the loss would go to Wade Miley, their starting pitcher. He allowed 5 earned runs in the first 4 innings of the game as he struck out 2. With this loss, Wade Miley is 11-5 on the season. In the Reds batting lineup, their right fielder, Nick Castellanos, was the only player in Game 1 to have more than one hit. He went 2-for-4 with a run. For the St. Louis Cardinals, the start was given to Miles Mikolas. He allowed 4 earned runs in the first 3 innings of the game, striking out 3. The win was given to the Cardinals' first relief pitcher, Genesis Cabrera. He allowed no earned runs in 2 innings pitched. He would pitch the 4th and 5th innings, striking out 2. With his win, he's 3-5 on the year. The save would go to the Cardinals' closer, Giovanni Gallegos. He allowed no earned runs in the 7th inning as he struck out a batter. This would be his 4th save of the year. In the Cardinals batting lineup, their elite first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, went 2-for-2 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs, as he also had 2 walks. His 2 hits were his 23rd and 24th home runs of the season. Their left fielder, Tyler O'Neill, will go 2-for-4. Their right fielder, Dylan Carlson, would go 2-for-4. And then their center fielder, Harrison Bader, would go 3-for-4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 10th home run of the season. Following this first game, the Cincinnati Reds would even it up for the day as they beat the Cardinals 12-2 in Game 2. After the Cardinals scored the first run of the game in the first inning, the Reds, of course, would take the lead in the first inning off of a Castellanos home run. And then in the second inning, in addition to a Nick Castellanos grand slam, he hit his 2 home runs in the first 2 innings of the game. The Reds would just run it up. They scored 7 of their 12 runs in the second inning. In Game 2 for St. Louis, the loss went to their starting pitcher, J.A. Happ. J.A. Happ allowed 7 earned runs in 1 inning pitched. He was unable to strike out a batter before he was pulled in the second inning. With this loss, he's 8-7 on the season. In the Cardinals batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit. Their elite third baseman, Nolan Arenado, would go 1-for-2 with an RBI and a run. Arenado would hit his 27th home run of the season. For the Cincinnati Reds in Game 2, the start was given to Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray allowed 2 earned runs off of 2 hits in the first 5 innings of the game as he struck out 3. With this win, he is 7-6 on the season. And in the Reds batting lineup, their right fielder, Nick Castellanos, went 2-for-3 with 6 RBIs and 3 runs. His 2 hits were his 25th and 26th home runs of the year. Their rookie second baseman, Jonathan India, went 2-for-3 with 2 runs. Their elite third baseman, Eugenio Suarez, went 2-for-4 with an RBI and 2 runs as he hit his 24th home run of the year. And then the Cincinnati Reds center fielder for the day, Delino DeShields, would end up going 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs. With this loss and then win, the Cincinnati Reds are now 72-63. That is the second best record in the National League Central. They've won 4 of their last 10 games, and they now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 10.5 games in the division. The Reds are also the sole holders of the second National League wildcard spot, sitting 13 games behind the San Francisco Giants, who for the first time this year are sitting in the first wildcard slot. And the Reds are also sitting half a game ahead of the San Diego Padres, who are the first team on the outside of the National League playoff picture. At the moment, with this win and loss, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 68-64. They have now lost 4 of their last 10 games as they trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 13 games in the division. The Cardinals also trail the Cincinnati Reds by 2.5 games for that second wild card spot. They are tied with the Philadelphia Phillies for that second spot on the outside looking in, as they also trail the San Diego Padres by a couple games in that race as well. Jumping out to Dallas, the Texas Rangers hosted the Colorado Rockies. The Rangers would go into the top of the 9th inning, leading 5-4, but then the Rockies would score 5 runs at the top of the 9th to win this game 9-5. For the Rangers, the start was given to Kohei Arihara. He allowed 1 earned run and only 1 hit in 3.1 innings pitched. He would strike out 3 batters before getting pulled in the 4th inning. And the loss was given to the Rangers closer for the day, Joe Barlow. Barlow allowed 5 runs in .2 innings pitched. He started off the 9th inning, but was unable to finish it. With this loss, this was his first blown save of the year. He's now 0-2 on the season. In the Rangers batting lineup, their center fielder, Leody Taveras, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their designated hitter, Yohel Pozo, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And then their center fielder, Jose Trevino, would end up going 2 for 3 with a run. For the Colorado Rockies, the start was given to Kyle Freeland. He allowed 1 earned run in 1 inning pitch as he struck out a batter. The win was given to the Royals' penultimate or setup relief pitcher, Julius Chassin. He allowed no earned runs in 2 innings pitched. He would pitch the 7th and 8th innings as he struck out a batter. With his win, he's now 3-1 on the season for Colorado. In the Rockies batting lineup, their left fielder, Connor Joe, went 2 for 4 with a run. Their second baseman, Brendan Rodgers, went 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He would hit his 11th home run of the season. And with this win, the Colorado Rockies are 61-72. That is the 4th best record in the National League West, as they've won 4 of their last 10. They currently sit 23.5 games behind the National League West leading defending champs, LA Dodgers. With this loss, the Texas Rangers are now 47-86. That is the worst record in the American League West, as they've lost 6 of their last 10 games. They trail the Houston Astros by 31 games in the division, and as of right now, they are one of 2 things, or they are one win, or they are 1 loss away from possibly being eliminated. But as of right now, the Texas Rangers are not eliminated from playoff contention, at least from the wild card. They're eliminated from winning their division, but right now they trail the Astros by 31 games. Jumping out to Arizona, or to Phoenix, the Diamondbacks hosted the San Diego Padres. The Diamondbacks will pull off an 8-3 win at home, especially after scoring 6 of their 8 in the 3rd inning alone. For the San Diego Padres, the loss went to their elite starting pitcher, Yu Darvish. He allowed 6 runs in 2.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 3 batters before getting pulled in the 3rd inning. In the Padres batting lineup, their center fielder, Trent Grisham, went 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 14th home run of the season. He was the only player on the team with a multi-hit game. And for the Arizona Diamondbacks, the win was given to their starting pitcher, Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver allowed 1 earned run and only 4 hits in the first 6 innings of the game. Weaver would strike out 3 batters, and with this win, he's 3-3 on the year. In the Diamondbacks batting lineup, their second baseman, Josh Rojas, went 2 for 5 with an RBI. Their center fielder, Ketel Marte, would end up going 3 for 5 with 2 runs on the day. Additionally, their first baseman, Pavin Smith, would go 3 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs. Their left fielder, David Peralta, would go 2-for-4 with a run. And with this win, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 45-90. That is the worst record in the National League West, as that is also the worst record in the National League. After winning only a third of their games, 135 games into the season, they've won only 3 of their last 10 games. They now trail the LA Dodgers by 40.5 games in the National League West, as they have been eliminated from contention in the division, and they are 1 game away from getting eliminated from at least getting eliminated from wild card contention, to give a sense of where the Diamondbacks are. With this loss, the San Diego Padres are now 71-63. That is the 3rd best record in the National League West. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games. They trail the LA Dodgers, the defending World Series champs, by 14 games in the division. And they trail the Cincinnati Reds for that 2nd National League wildcard spot by half a game in the division at the moment. Jumping out, or just to give a sense of where the Padres are, they're the first team on the outside looking in as well. They sit behind the Reds. They're the only team that's sitting there right now. Jumping out to Seattle, the Seattle Mariners hosted the Houston Astros, and after the game, where the only run of the game would come off of a solo home run from Abraham Toro, in this matchup, the Mariners would beat the Astros 1-0, as their only run of the game would come off of a sacrifice fly from Abraham Toro, making him responsible for their last 5 RBIs and the Mariners' last 2 wins. For the Houston Astros, the loss was given to their starting pitcher, Jake Odorizzi. He allowed only 1 earned run off of 2 hits and 5 innings pitched, as he struck out 7. With his loss, Odorizzi is 6-7 on the season. In the Astros batting lineup, their left fielder, Michael Brantley, went 2-for-4, and then their elite third baseman, Alex Bregman, went 2-for-4 as well. For the Seattle Mariners, the start was given to Logan Gilbert. Logan Gilbert allowed no earned runs, and he only allowed 4 hits and 5 innings pitched. He struck out 4 on the day. The win was given to the Mariners' first relief pitcher, Justice Sheffield. He allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch, as he pitched the entire 6th inning. He allowed 1 hit as well, and with this win, he's 6-8 on the year. The save was given to the Mariners' closer, Paul Sewald. He allowed no earned runs in 1.1 inning pitched, as he struck out 3. He would finish the 8th and 9th innings. That was what he did yesterday. And nobody in the Mariners batting lineup would finish with more than 1 hit, but Toro's sacrifice fly would give him his 37th RBI of the season. With this win, the Seattle Mariners are 72-62. That is the 3rd best record in the American League West. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 6 of their last 10. They sit 6.5 games behind the Houston Astros in the division at the moment. And they also trail the Boston Red Sox by 3.5 games in the wild card, just to give a sense of where they sit. They are the 2nd team on the outside looking in, as they also trail the Oakland Athletics in this race as well. With this loss, the Houston Astros are 78-55. That is still the best record in the American League West. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 5 of their last 10, but they still sit 5 games ahead of the 2nd place Oakland Athletics in their own division, as they are holding on to the 2nd seed in the American League playoff picture, sitting behind the 1st seed Tampa Bay Rays out east, and they still sit ahead of the Chicago White Sox, who are currently controlling the Central at the moment. Jumping out to Toronto, the Blue Jays hosted the Baltimore Orioles, and the Blue Jays were able to pull off a 5-4 win. The Orioles would tie the game at the top of the 7th off of a RBI double from Trey Mancini, but it would be a sacrifice double play from Randall Grichuk to give the Blue Jays their 5th run that they would eventually win the game with. For the Baltimore Orioles, the loss went to Matt Harvey. He allowed 4 earned runs in the first 4 innings of the game. The loss was given to the Orioles' 4th relief pitcher, or their setup relief pitcher, Dylan Tate. He allowed 1 earned run in 0.1 inning pitched, as he started out the 8th inning but was unable to finish. With this loss, he's 0-5 on the year, and in the Orioles batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit. For the Toronto Blue Jays, the start was given to Steven Matz. He allowed 2 earned runs and he allowed 5 hits and 5 innings pitched, as he struck out 5. The win was given to the Blue Jays setup relief pitcher Tim Meza. Tim Meza allowed no earned runs in the 8th inning, and with this win, he's 5-2 on the season. The save was given to the Blue Jays closer Jordan Romano. Romano allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out 2. In the Blue Jays batting lineup, the only player with more than one hit was their left fielder, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. Additionally, their all-star second baseman, Marcus Semien, went 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run. His only hit of the day was his 33rd home run of the season. With this win, the Toronto Blue Jays are now 70-62. That is the 4th best record in the American League East, as they've won 6 of their last 10 games. They sit 13.5 games behind the Tampa Bay Rays in their own division, to give a sense of where they are. And they are also sitting 4.5 games behind the Boston Red Sox for that second American League wildcard spot, as the Blue Jays are currently the 3rd team on the outside of the American League wildcard picture looking in, as they also trail the Oakland Athletics and the Seattle Mariners in that race as well. With this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are now 41-91. That is the worst record in the American League East, as they've lost 7 of their last 10. They sit 42.5 games behind the Tampa Bay Rays in the division, just to give a sense of what the gap is between the best and worst teams in the American League. It's actually a bigger gap than that in the National League. But regardless, they are the Baltimore Orioles, sitting 42.5 games behind the Tampa Bay Rays at the moment, have been eliminated from at least division contention, and they are also eliminated from contending in the wild card for the American League. Right now, the Baltimore Orioles are the only team that has been eliminated from playoff contention thus far in the season. Jumping out to Anaheim, the LA Angels hosted the New York Yankees. The Yankees would end up beating the Angels 4-1, as they scored 2 of their runs in the second, and then another one in the two of their 4 runs in the third, and then they scored another one in the fourth. For the LA Angels, the loss would go to their starting pitcher, Packy Naughton. Naughton allowed 3 earned runs in 3.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 2 batters before getting pulled in the 4th inning. With this loss, he's 0-1 on the year. In the Angels batting lineup, their second baseman, David Fletcher, went 2 for 4 with an RBI. For the New York Yankees, the win went to their elite starting pitcher, Garrett Cole. He allowed 1 earned run off of 4 hits in 7 innings pitched, as he struck out 15. With this win, Garrett Cole is 14-6 on the season for New York. He had the best pitching performance of the night, in my opinion. And then the save would end up going to the New York Yankees closer, Aroldis Chapman. He allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning, as he struck out 1 batter in the inning, picking up his 25th save. In the Yankees batting lineup, their elite right fielder, Aaron Judge, would go 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 30th home run of the season for the Yankees yesterday. Then their designated hitter, Luke Voit, went 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. With this win, the New York Yankees are 77-56. That is the 2nd best record in the American League East. They've won 6 of their last 10 games, as they now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 7 games in the division. Right now, they are also holding on to the top American League wildcard spot, sitting 2 games ahead of the Boston Red Sox, who are holding on to that second American League wildcard spot. With this loss, the LA Angels are now 66-68. That is the 4th best record in the American League West, as they've lost 6 of their last 10 games. They sit 12.5 games behind the division-leading Houston Astros, to give a sense of where the Angels are at the minute. And then jumping out to Detroit, the Detroit Tigers hosted the Oakland Athletics. The Athletics, contending for a playoff spot, fell just short. The A's were leading the Tigers 6-3 at one point in the game. At the bottom of the 5th, it would be Akil Baddoo hitting the solo home run. At the bottom of the 6th, Harold Castro brought him 1 run closer. In the bottom of the 7th, Jonathan Scope would single to tie the game, and then it would be an RBI single from their future Hall of Famer, Miguel Cabrera, to give them the win. and then Akil Baddoo would give them the 2-run lead as they completed the comeback win. For the A's, the start was given to James Caprillion. He allowed 4 earned runs in 4 innings pitched, striking out 4. The loss was given to the A's second relief pitcher, A.J. Puk. Puk would allow 2 earned runs without registering a single out in the 7th inning. With this loss, this will be his second blown save of the season, and he is now 0-2 on the year. In the A's batting lineup, their second baseman Josh Harrison went 3 for 5 with 2 runs. Their center fielder Starling Marte went 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. He hit his 10th home run of the season yesterday. Their designated hitter Jed Lowry went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs, and their right fielder Mark Canha went 2 for 4 as well. For the Detroit Tigers, the start was given to Willie Peralta. He allowed 3 runs in the first 4 innings of the game as he struck out 2. The win was given to the Tigers' second relief pitcher, Joe Jimenez. He allowed no earned runs in the 7th inning, and with this win, he's now 5-1 on the year. The save was given to the Tigers' all-star closer, Gregory Soto. He allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning pitch as he struck out 2. This would be his 17th save of the year. In the Tigers' batting lineup, their left fielder Akil Baddoo will go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his 11th home run of the season. Their future Hall of Fame designated hitter Miguel Cabrera will go 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. He would hit his 15th home run of the season as well as the game-winning RBI. Their second baseman, Harold Castro, would go 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs as he hit his second home run as well. With this win, the Detroit Tigers are now 63-71. That is the 3rd best record in the American League Central as they've won 4 of their last 10 games. They sit 15 games behind the Chicago White Sox in the division at the moment. And with this loss, the Oakland Athletics are now 73-60. That is the 2nd best record in the American League West as they've lost 7 of their last 10. They currently sit 5 games behind the Houston Astros in the division at the moment, and they are the first team on the outside of the American League wildcard picture as they trail the Boston Red Sox by 2 games for that second wildcard spot. Jumping out to Tampa Bay, speaking of the Red Sox were able to beat the American League leading Tampa Bay Rays 3-2 in Tampa Bay yesterday. The Rays were leading 2-1 for a good chunk of the game. The Red Sox would tie the game in the top of the 7th off of a solo home run from Christian Vazquez. After Wander Franco's 2-run home run gave the Rays the lead. And then with a tied game, the play of the day will go to Jarren Duran for getting the go-ahead RBI single that would win the Red Sox the game in a very crucial one. For the Tampa Bay Rays, the start went to Drew Rasmussen. He allowed 1 earned run and 3 hits in the first 4 innings of the game as he struck out 5. The loss was given to the Rays closer, Pete Fairbanks. Fairbanks allowed 1 earned run in the 9th inning as he struck out all 3 of the batters he would have to get out. With his loss, he's 3-5 on the season. In the Rays batting lineup, their elite designated hitter, Nelson Cruz, would end up going 2 for 4 with a run. Their elite shortstop, Wander Franco, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 7th home run of the year. And their center fielder, Manuel Margot, went 2 for 4. For the Boston Red Sox, the start went to their elite starting pitcher, Chris Sale. He allowed 2 earned runs off of 6 hits in the first 6 innings of the game. He would strike out 3 before giving up the home run to... He did give up the home run to Wander Franco. The win would go to the Red Sox first relief pitcher, Garrett Whitlock. Whitlock allowed no earned runs in the 7th and 8th innings of this matchup, striking out 1 batter in that 2-inning stretch. With this loss, he's 7-2 on the season. The save for Boston will go to Adam Ottavino. He allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out 2. This would be his 11th save of the season. And in the Red Sox batting lineup, their third baseman, Rafael Devers, would go 2 for 4 with a run. Their all-star third baseman. Their left fielder, Alex Verdugo, will go 2 for 4 with a run. Their catcher, Christian Vazquez, would go 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 6th home run of the season. With this win, the Boston Red Sox are now 76-59. That is the 3rd best record in the American League East as they've won 6 of their last 10. They sit 9 games behind the Tampa Bay Rays in the division at the moment as they are holding on to that second American League wildcard spot, sitting 2 games behind the New York Yankees who are holding on to that first wildcard spot, and the Red Sox sit 2 games ahead of the Oakland Athletics who at the moment are the first team on the outside of the wild card picture looking in. With this loss, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 84-49. That is the best record in the American League West. That is the best record in the American League, and they are currently tied with the San Francisco Giants for the second best record in baseball. With this loss, this puts an end to their 9-game winning streak as they've only lost one of their last 10 games. Of course, that's how 9-game winning streaks work. With this loss, they sit 7 games ahead of the second place New York Yankees in their own division, and they're holding on to the number 1 seed in the league as they sit over the second seed Houston Astros leading the West, and they also sit ahead of the 3rd seed Chicago White Sox, who are leading the Central. Jumping out to Kansas City, the Kansas City Royals host the Cleveland Indians from within their own division. The Cleveland Indians would get the best of the Royals, beating the Royals 5-3 off of 2 runs in the 11th inning. The tiebreaker would come from a single from Austin Hedges to make it 4-3, and then it would be a RBI double from Yu Chang to bring Bobby Bradley home to give the Indians a 2-run win for win number 66. For the Kansas City Royals, the start was given to Jackson Kowar. Kowar allowed 2 runs in the first 6 innings of the game, striking out 6. The loss was given to the Royals' closer for the day, Irvin Santana. He allowed 2 runs in the 11th inning as he struck out a batter. With this loss, he's 1-2 on the year. In the Royals' batting lineup, their designated hitter, Adalberto Mondesi, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and 2 runs. He hit his 5th home run of the season yesterday. And for the Cleveland Indians, the start was given to Logan Allen. He allowed 3 runs off of 5 hits and 6.2 innings pitched. He would strike out 3 batters before getting pulled in the 7th. The win was given to the Indians' setup relief pitcher, Blake Parker. He allowed no earned runs in the 10th inning as he struck out a batter. The save was given to the Indians' closer for the day, Trevor Stefan. He allowed no earned runs in the 11th inning as he struck out 2, picking up his first save of the season. In the Indians' batting lineup, their left fielder for the day, Harold Ramirez, would go 2 for 4 with a run. And then their pinch-hitting second baseman, Yu Chang, would end up going 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run. He hit his 7th home run of the season yesterday. With this win, the Cleveland Indians are now 66-64. That is the second best record in the American League Central as they've won their last 3 games and they've won 7 of their last 10. They currently trail the Chicago White Sox by 10 games in the division at the moment. With this loss, the Kansas City Royals are now 59-73. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central and the 4th worst record in the American League. They've lost their last 3 games and they've lost 5 of their last 10. They currently trail the Chicago White Sox by 18 games in the division, just to give a sense of where the Kansas City Royals are. Jumping out to Minneapolis, the Minnesota Twins hosted the Chicago Cubs. The Chicago Cubs would shut out the Minnesota Twins as the only scoring play of the day for this match. It would be a 3-run home run in the top of the 3rd from Frank Schwindel. For the Minnesota Twins, the loss was given to their starting pitcher, Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan would allow 3 earned runs in the first 5 innings of the game, striking out 5. With this loss, he's 0-1 on the season. In the Twins batting lineup, the only player that would register 2 hits, let alone 1, would be their left fielder, Brent Rooker. Brent Rooker went 2 for 2 for the day. And for the Chicago Cubs, the win was given to their starting pitcher, Justin Steele. Justin Steele allowed no earned runs and only 1 hit in the first 5 innings of the game as he struck out 3. With this win, he's 3-2. And then the only other pitcher for the day would be Adbert Alzolay, and he would pick up the save. He would allow no earned runs and only 1 hit in the last 4 innings of the game. He would pitch from the 6th through the 9th, picking up 5 strikeouts in that span. This would be, like I said, this would be his first save of the year. And in the Cubs batting lineup, with his home run, Schwindel now has 8 home runs on the year. He went 1 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. With this win, the Chicago Cubs are now 59-75. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central. They've won their last 2 games and they've won 5 of their last 10 as they trailed the Milwaukee Brewers by 23 games in the division. And with this loss, the Minnesota Twins are 58-75. That is the worst record in the American League Central. and that is the third worst record in the American League. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 6 of their last 10 games. They trail the Chicago White Sox by 19.5 games in the division at the moment. Speaking of the Chicago White Sox, the White Sox hosted the Pittsburgh Pirates and were able to pull off a 6-3 win at home after scoring 3 runs in the 4th and another 2 in the 5th to establish their lead where the Pirates just wouldn't be able to crawl back from. The loss would go to the Pirates starting pitcher, Max Kranick. Kranick allowed 5 earned runs in 4.2 innings pitched, striking out a batter. With this loss, Kranick is 1-3 on the season. In the Pirates batting lineup, their right fielder for the day, Cole Tucker, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. For the Chicago White Sox, the win was given to Carlos Rodon. He allowed only 1 earned run off of 5 hits in the first 5 innings of the game as he struck out 5. With this win, Carlos Rodon is 11-5 on the season for the Chicago White Sox, and the save would end up going to their closer, Liam Hendriks, their elite closer. He allowed no earned runs in 1.2 innings as he finished out the 8th and 9th innings. He would finish with 2 strikeouts on the day. In the White Sox batting lineup, their center fielder, Luis Robert, would go 2 for 5. Their catcher, Yasmani Grandal, would go 2 for 3 with 2 runs. Their shortstop, Leury Garcia, would end up going 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run. And then their designated hitter, Gavin Sheets, would end up going 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 7th and 8th home runs of the season. With this win, the Chicago White Sox are now 78-56. That is the best record in the American League Central. They've won their last 3 games, and they've won 6 of their last 10. They sit 10 games ahead of the second-place Cleveland Indians in the division, and they're holding on to the 3rd seed in the American League playoff picture, sitting behind the Tampa Bay Rays, who are holding on to that number 1 seed, leading the East, and they are also sitting behind the 2nd seed Houston Astros, who are currently leading the West. With this loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 48-85. That is the worst record in the National League Central. They've lost their last 2 games, and they've lost 6 of their last 10. At the moment, they trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 33.5 games in the division, as they are now eliminated from potentially winning the division. They are still in contention for the wild card at the moment, as they currently, like I said, they trailed the Brewers by 33.5 games in the division at this current moment in time. Jumping out to San Francisco, the San Francisco Giants hosted the Milwaukee Brewers. The Giants were able to tie the game with the Brewers going into the top of the 7th. The Brewers would break this tie off of an RBI single from Jace Peterson, and they would go on to win this game, scoring another 2 runs in the 9th to win it 5-2. For the San Francisco Giants, the start was given to Kevin Gausman. Gausman allowed 2 earned runs and 4 hits in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 7. The loss was given to the Giants' second relief pitcher on the day, Dominic Leone. Leone allowed 1 earned run in .2 innings pitched as he started pitching in the 7th inning, and he would strike out 1. He would not finish the 7th inning, and with this loss, he's 3-3 on the year. In the Giants' batting lineup, their elite right fielder, Chris Bryant, went 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. He would be the only player on the Giants with more than 1 hit. And then for the Milwaukee Brewers, the start was given to Brett Anderson. Brett Anderson only pitched 2 innings of the game, allowing no earned runs in that span, striking out 2. The win was given to their third relief pitcher, Daniel Norris. Norris allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched as he would pitch the entire 6th inning. He struck out 2 batters, and with this win, he's 2-3 on the season. The save would go to the Brewers' elite closer, Josh Hader. Josh Hader allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning as he struck out all 3 of the batters he needed to get out. He would walk a batter as well, and he would pick up like I said, this would be his 29th save. In the Brewers batting lineup, their second baseman, Jace Peterson, went 2 for 5 with an RBI. And then their center fielder, Lorenzo Cain, would go 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. Lorenzo Cain hit his 7th home run of the season for the Brewers. With this win, the Brewers are now 82-52. That is the best record in the National League Central. They've won their last 4 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10 as they actually swept the Giants. They sit 10.5 games ahead of the second place Cincinnati Reds within their division, and they are holding on to the second seed in the National League playoff picture, sitting behind the first seed LA Dodgers, who are leading out west, and they still sit ahead of the Atlanta Braves, who are holding on to that third seed, leading the National League East at the moment. With this loss, the San Francisco Giants are now 84-49. That is the second best record in the National League West. This is the first time all year where they're not actually leading their division. They've lost their last 4 games, and they've lost 5 of their last 10. At the moment, they trailed the defending World Series champs, LA Dodgers, by half a game in the division, but they are holding on to that first National League wildcard spot, sitting 13 games ahead of the second place Cincinnati Reds at the moment. That's what the playoff picture is looking like right now. And then last but not least, jumping out to Dodger Stadium, the LA Dodgers hosted the Atlanta Braves, and after trailing 3-2 at the bottom of the 8th, it would be Justin Turner tying the game in the bottom of the 8th, and then it would be an A.J. Pollock single to bring Justin Turner home to give the Dodgers their 85th win of the season. For the Atlanta Braves, the start was given to Max Fried, the LA kid. He allowed 2 earned runs and 3 hits in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 9. The loss was given to the Braves closer for the day, Chris Martin. Martin would blow his fourth save of the year as he allowed 1 earned run to finish out the 8th inning. He would strike out a batter, and with this loss, he's now 2-4 on the season. In the Braves batting lineup, their left fielder, Eddie Rosario, would go 2-for-4 with 2 RBIs and a run. Eddie Rosario would hit his 8th home run of the season for Atlanta. He was the only player on the team with more than 1 hit. For the defending champs, the start went to their goated starting pitcher, Max Scherzer. He allowed no earned runs in the first 6 innings of the game. He only allowed 3 hits as well. He allowed no walks and struck out 9 as well. The win would go to the Dodgers' setup relief pitcher, Phil Bickford. Bickford allowed no earned runs in .1 inning pitched. With this win, he's now 3-1 on the season. The save would end up going to the Dodgers' closer, Joe Kelly. Kelly allowed no earned runs in the 9th inning, and this would be his 2nd save of the year. In the Dodgers batting lineup, their first baseman, Max Muncy, went 2-for-4 with an RBI and a run as their all-star first baseman hit his 30th home run of the season. And then their catcher, Austin Barnes, went 2-for-3 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 6th home run of the season. With this win, the Los Angeles Dodgers are now 85-49, and for the first time all season, they are the sole leaders of the National League West. They've won their last 3 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. They sit half a game ahead of the second-place San Francisco Giants within their own division, and they are holding on to the best record in all of baseball at the moment. In the National League playoff picture, they are holding on to that number 1 seed, sitting ahead of the 2nd seed Milwaukee Brewers, who are currently leading the Central, and they are sitting ahead of the 3rd seed Atlanta Braves, who are still leading the National League East. With this loss, the Atlanta Braves are now 70-62. That is still the best record in the National League East. They've lost their last 3 games, and they've lost 6 of their last 10 as they got swept by the Dodgers. They sit 2 games ahead of the second-place Philadelphia Phillies within their own division, as they are holding on to the 3rd seed in the National League playoff picture, trailing the LA Dodgers leading out west, holding that 1 seed, and they are trailing the 2nd seed Milwaukee Brewers, who are currently sitting on top of the National League Central at the moment. With that said, that is what the MLB is looking like following yesterday's matchups and taking a look at what's going on today as a lot of teams are traveling. Some teams are staying put where they are. Starting at 105, Paolo Espino and the Washington Nationals are going to host Aaron Nola and the Philadelphia Phillies. At 110, Matt Manning and the Detroit Tigers are going to host Frankie Montas and the Oakland Athletics. Frankie Montas enters his matchup with a 10-9 record, holding a 3.66 ERA. At 3:45, Logan Webb and the San Francisco Giants are going to host Eric Lauer and the Milwaukee Brewers. Eric Lauer enters his matchup with a 4-5 record, holding a 3.61 ERA. Logan Webb enters his matchup with an 8-3 record, holding a 2.65 ERA for San Francisco. At 7:10, Shane McClanahan and the American League leading Tampa Bay Rays are going to host the Boston Red Sox, who are holding on to that 2nd American League wildcard spot. Eduardo Rodriguez is going to take the mound for Boston. Shane McClanahan, taking the mound for Tampa Bay, comes into this matchup with a 9-4 record, holding a 3.59 ERA. At the same time, at 7:10 on ESPN Plus, Carlos Carrasco and the New York Mets are going to host Zach Thompson and the Miami Marlins. Zach Thompson enters his matchup with a 2-6 record, but he holds a 3.16 ERA on the year. At 8:05, Keegan Thompson and the Chicago Cubs are going to host Mitch Keller and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Keegan Thompson enters his matchup with a 3-3 record, holding a 3.09 ERA. And then at 8:10, Mike Minor and the Kansas City Royals are going to host Tristan McKenzie and the Cleveland Indians. Last but not least, at 8:40, Chichi Gonzalez and the Colorado Rockies are going to host Tuki Toussaint and the Atlanta Braves. And Colorado at Coors Field, the site of the 2021 MLB All-Star Game. Tuki Toussaint enters his matchup with a 3-2 record, holding a 3.60 ERA. That is what the MLB is looking like, especially within the world, especially within baseball right now. Taking a look at what's going on within soccer. First, before we leave the continent, I think it's worth noting that the FIFA World Cup qualifying matches within North America are taking place today. Canada faces off against Honduras at 8:05. Mexico hosts Jamaica at 10. El Salvador faces off against the United States at 10:05. Looking at what's going on with European World or FIFA World Cup qualifying matchups. Looking at the games from yesterday, France drew with Bosnia and Herzegovina as Edin Dzeko would score the only goal for Bosnia in the 36th minute. 3 minutes later, Antoine Griezmann would score in the 39th minute before Koundé would get a red card, which would disadvantage France for most of the second half. And then following this, additionally, Netherlands was able to draw with Norway at 1. Norway's only goal will come from their elite striker, Erling Haaland. And then for Netherlands, their goal will come from their midfielder, Klaassen, in the 36th minute. Portugal was able to beat the Republic of Ireland 2-1, as their 2 goals will come from Cristiano Ronaldo in the final minutes, in order to give Portugal the win. And of course, in both these goals gave Cristiano Ronaldo the official international goal scoring record. He is now the top international goal scorer of all time as of today. And looking at what's going on today with the with Europe qualifying matchups, Belgium's going to face off against Estonia at 2:45. The 2020 Euro runners-up, England, are going to face off against Hungary at the same time at 2:45. At the same time, the Euro 2020 winners, Italy, are going to face off against Bulgaria. At the same time, Liechtenstein is going to face off against Germany at 2:45. Poland and their elite striker, Robert Lewandowski, are going to face off against Albania at 2:45. And then also at the same time, Sweden is going to face off against Spain. Taking a look at what's going on in South America as they're facing off in their FIFA World Cup qualifying matchups. Bolivia is going to face off against Colombia at 4 o'clock. Venezuela is going to face off against the 2021 Copa America champs, Argentina. And then Brazil is going to face off against Chile at 9 for their Copa America matchup. Peru will also face off against Uruguay at 9 o'clock. Taking a look at what went on with the qualifiers in Africa, Egypt was able to beat Angola 1-0, and that was the really big matchup there. Taking a look at what's going on today, it looks as though Kenya is going to face off against Uganda. That's going to be the really big matchup there. Taking a look at what's going on in the Asian matchups, Japan's going to face off against Oman. South Korea is going to face off against Iraq, as of course Son Heung-min is going to try to make his presence felt there. And with that felt, that's virtually everything that's going on with soccer. And I already mentioned what's going on with college football as we slowly but surely eke into that season. With that said, I want to thank everyone for listening to all 44 minutes of this piece. I want to thank the MLB, ESPN, FIFA websites that I needed to for the facts and figures to get this episode completed. I want to, of course, apologize for all the names that I butchered because, of course, I do plan on getting them right eventually. And with that said, I want to thank everyone once again. I hope all is well. Today is Thursday, September 2nd, 2021. I'm James Sims. This is The Elite. Thank you for listening to my piece. I hope all is well and peace out. I will catch you with an episode right after this, an elite individual profile on Brandon Ingram, the elite starting small forward for the New Orleans Pelicans, who turns 24 today. Thanks for listening to my piece. I'm James Sims, and peace out. I'll catch you tomorrow.